the sister, the aunt, got some little wood, and they just found a couple little pieces of wood to get going, and they didn't know how to actually start it. And she said that she doesn't know how it happened, but somehow your grandma was able to combine a movement, and it started the fire. So there's something where you know how to, like, let it be alive, let it have a breath, and you can start fires really, really good.
There's moments where I can, absolutely, create a movement. You said, right? And I've asked a few other of my friends who are intuitive and stuff about it, and they're like, oh, maybe you're splitting the meat. Well, all the things, right?
Yeah.
But I've never quite understood, what is that moment of being able to, just break and create that, almost like an energy burst that changes things.
Hi, I'm Ruth Barclay, and welcome to my channel, Taste Your Magic. This is a company I've been creating for a while now, and the work that I do, I've been doing for my whole entire life, and professionally for 25 years. What we do tonight is we are going to be giving readings and offering readings also live here soon. And in the readings, I offer oracle readings, which is anything about you. We work with you, your gifts, anything that you have coming up in your life you have a question about. We even get into really interesting stuff like animal shamanism work and your guides that are protecting you. We also do animal communication, and that's just speaking with animals that you have, that you've had, that you own, that you have questions going on. And then our last one, which is really fun, angel connections, which is a medium work, and that is communicating with people who have passed on. And today we have Whitney Diamond with us.
Hi.
Hello. And personally, we've done a lot of animal communications with her horses. She does competitive horse riding and other business work. But today, what question do you have?
Well, I thought we could play with some angel reading because we have done animal work a lot. And so I thought it might be fun to mix it up and see what comes through, maybe some guides or family members that have passed on.
Okay, well, before we start, I would love to allow you to hold a protector. So some of the shaman work that we work with, we have different tools that help center us and hold us safe. So a way that I like to do it to save time, because a lot of things come through, is do you have a specific person you would like to talk to?
No. And I kind of thought about that on the way down, seeing if anybody would come through just kind of on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And no.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure.
So someone who's coming through very loud for you is a female, and she's mentioning sister. It's the biggest word that I just keep getting is sister. And you've not had a sister close to you that has passed away, correct?
I don't have any sisters.
Any sisters at all?
I don't have any sisters.
Okay, so then what this one is coming in as, because it's very adamant that it's a sister, is the name of it. And what she wants to share is that she is along your mother's line, and then it goes from your mother's line to your mother's mother's line. So your grandma's side on your mother's side. And I'm not understanding why she keeps saying sister. She's a sister of some sort, and that's okay. We're going to keep moving forward with it, and that a lot of times those things will just come together later on after the reading, right? Or sometimes during. So she comes in, and so we're working with a woman on your grandmother's side, which is her sister. There we go. So it would be your great aunt on your mother's side.
Okay.
Do you know anything about them?
Yeah, I do actually. Before my grandma passed, she went through her whole genealogy. We're actually Icelandic, and some of the first Icelandic LDS people who came over here, to this area, they kind of built up from that line. So I don't know how you'd say that, but yeah.
Really nice. Really nice. Okay, so a big thing that's coming in for you, do you have any questions at the moment on that?
Well, I was really close with my grandma, and what's interesting is my mom, my grandma, me, my daughter, we're all intuitive. And so that might be kind of where that line comes into play in our life. But my grandma was never really allowed to explore that. She loved working with herbs. But because they were in the LDS church, my grandpa really put a kibosh on it. And so it wasn't until my mom that like our family was really able to learn energy and intuitive work. Yeah. So I don't know that much beyond my grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is really fun because she's got a secret to tell you. Oh. And it's going to help you though.
Yay.
Okay. So she's sharing a secret about your grandma because it wasn't safe. Not only was it not allowed, but it actually really wasn't really safe at all if things were brought up in any of this type of manner. There was a straight focus and it needed to be held. And she says it was also for the families, right? There was a lot we were working on. But when she's showing me that they were in ice, snow, it's snowy, it was ice, so they were on a lake. It looks like they're on a lake. And your grandma built a little fire. But what was really unique about this is they were younger and she got, the sister, the aunt, got some little wood, and they just found a couple little pieces of wood to get going. And they didn't know how to actually start it. And she said that she doesn't know how it happened, but somehow your grandma was able to combine a movement and it started the fire. And it kind of freaked them both out. But they needed the fire. And so they kept by the fire. And they didn't talk for a little bit. And she said, but what I remember was she was saying like a prayer. They were both saying a prayer, but hers was different. She said that your grandma's was different. That she was saying some prayer she never recognized before. And she doesn't know, neither one of them knew where the words were coming from. And they couldn't understand the words either. And as this come through, she built up a type of, like, I would call it a knowing, an intuition, knowing of how to move the sticks just right, how to get the fire started, and she won't go into a whole lot more details with that. But what happened is they kept that and they tried to do it a bunch of times and it never worked again.
As you would, right?
And so what her mission was to figure out how her sister, your grandma, did that. But your grandma got scared and tried to stop her from figuring out how to do it because of, it's kind of scary in that instance. She was scared for a lot of things. But as they grew up, the sister, your aunt, kept trying to figure out how she did that. And she is now bringing it up that you have had incidences with being able to activate fire more. So there's something where you know how to, like, let it be alive, let it have a breath, and you can start fires really, really good. And for some reason, you talk to them and you give them what they need for the fuel. And she says this is translating into both physical and in the fire of passions also. And so tell me what you're remembering right now about you.
And I don't think I've ever brought this up with you, but there's moments in my life where I am able to not necessarily, let's say, create a physical fire, but for example, and I'll keep it short, we were in Maui for our anniversary. We got drove off the road to Hana, right?
Okay.
And the Jeep totaled off the cliff that you die, right?
What?
Yeah. And I remember my first instinct, I gripped the dashboard and I just said, no, an absolute no.
Yeah.
And somehow there was a tree that was cut however many years ago, right? And the back of the Jeep caught on it.
Okay.
Yeah. So a physical fire, I mean, who doesn't love fire? But there's moments where I can absolutely create a movement, you said, right? And I've asked a few other of my friends who are intuitive and stuff about it, and they're like, oh, maybe you're sweating the mate, well, all the things, right?
Yeah.
But I've never quite understood, what is that moment of being able to just break and create that almost like an energy burst that changes things. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's interesting for sure.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah,
I want to work with
interesting.
you more on that. So a big thing that she just wants to kind of end that with is she's a witness and she's a believer. And there's others that have in your family line, but they don't know how to explain it and they don't know what to do with it. Mm. And so she is saying, as a witness, and now I get to witness the story, that yes, you definitely can command transitions and spaces. So thank you for being willing to share that.
Yeah, I love that it came up because it's been a question. Thank you, Ruth.
Yes. Stay tuned for Whitney. Okay. It's fun. We have a lot of really good magical moments on this show, and we invite you to keep watching. And as we get more developed, we will have longer stories where we can dive into gifts such as Whitney's.